Hi everyone, welcome to our homeschool table. My name is Jerilyn. I'm a mom of 3 kids, ages 9, 3, and 10 months old. And today I'm going to be sharing all of the electives and extra subjects that we have for the 2024-2025 school year. This is the 4th video in a curriculum series that I am a part of that is actually a collaboration with Davene from Calm in the Chaos Homeschool and Shauna from Homegrown Homeschool. The first week we shared all about our math curriculum picks, and then we shared our language arts picks. Last week was history and science curriculum or family subjects. And this week we are sharing about anything extra that doesn't fit into any of those categories. So that is what I will be sharing about today. Don't forget to check the playlist down below and see what all of the other moms have chosen for their homeschools today. And I'm going to go ahead and start with the Bible character and kind of habit study elements that we will be working on. We normally loop these subjects in our morning time. So each morning we always start out with Bible, and then after that we do usually just 1 or 2 more things. So the first thing that I wanted to show you is actually from my little guy. He is 3 years old, and I just picked up the Rod and Staff Bible Stories to Read book, and it also comes with the coloring book that the pages match the stories. So in this little book, there are just 2-page spreads of a story, and so you just read the story, and then there are some questions down here that you can ask your child. And then there is a coloring page that goes along with each of the stories. I'm probably going to take these out of the binding and give them to him one by one, because otherwise he will do the whole thing in a couple of days. The next thing that I want to show you is called Kids of Character. And this is a program from Character Concepts. I recently did a review of last year's curriculum that we used, which was called Character Trails. But this year, we are going to use Kids of Character Bible Study. This has 45 different character traits that are discussed in this over the course of this curriculum. And so basically how this works is you start. The first one is alertness, and it tells you the definition of what that means, a memory verse that supports it, and then it has some questions that you would answer. And then on the next page, there are still some more Bible references to look up and to answer questions about, and then some application over here on this side. That is one character trait. Then you go to this book called Portraits of Integrity, and this has stories of people in history that have shown that character trait. So for that first one, alertness, here's alertness. It tells you again what it is and the memory verse that goes with it. And then you just read this story. This one's about the Virginia giant from the Revolutionary War. And this is just a story here, a couple pages, and then some questions at the end. And then this goes right on into the next character trait. So that will probably take 1 to 2 days per week, and we will alternate that. Oh, one more thing. Just like the last curriculum that I used from Character Concepts, it has these little cards, and these are the character cards, and they are on cardstock, and these are black and white. The previous units that I did were color, but these are black and white, and they just have the character trait on the front and then the Bible verse on the back. So we will be using those, and we'll probably put them back here on our line or find a new spot for them. We will be alternating that with Laying Down the Rails, which is written by Simply Charlotte Mason. And so that curriculum this curriculum comes with the main book, Laying Down the Rails, and this just talks about all of the habits that you would want to talk about and different aspects that you would want to read through as a parent. Then you find whichever book that is in. There's 2 books here, book 1 and book 2, and this is kind of the child section of this curriculum. So for instance, right now we're on cleanliness, and we have started here. There are some questions to ask at the beginning. There's the lessons. There's about 12 lessons, I believe, for each of the character traits. Yep, 12 lessons. And then it goes into the next one. So they're pretty short. Some of them are a little bit longer, like reading a story for maybe 3 to 5 minutes. Other ones are a quick discussion. But we really like to just be thinking about some of these habits that we create in our family and in our routines. We only started using this pretty recently, so we will just be continuing on. They usually recommend that you work on a habit for like 6 to 8 weeks and then move on to another one. Another book in this kind of Bible character and habits section is a book that my daughter and I will be reading probably once a week. And this is A Girl's Guide to Making Really Good Choices, written by Elizabeth George. And so this is kind of a Bible study for her to go through. It has 10 chapters, but it just talks about different things that you might want to talk about with your daughters. So things like you have a choice, choosing to get up, choosing to read your Bible, choosing to pray, choosing your friends, choosing what you say and don't say, choosing to be patient, choosing a happy heart, choosing to be faithful, and choosing to trust God. We will probably work on this one chapter, maybe 3 different weeks in a row on Friday or something like that. Okay, so the next section that I want to talk about are the beauty subjects. You might hear them referred to. So that for us is poetry, art study or artist study, composer study, hymn study, and nature study. And this year we are adding something new. I think I mentioned that earlier, which is Plutarch. So I'm going to start with that because that is very new to us. So this is a book that an advisory member from Ambleside Online put together. So it has a complete 6-lesson guide for Plutarch's life of Eumenes. So we're just going to give this a try. I have never really read a ton on Plutarch and the lives, but I'm hoping to learn something from this, either just on my own or adding my daughter into this as well. The next thing is poetry. And so I picked up another volume of the Ambleside Online Poetry Anthology. This is for year 5 or volume 5. But these are the recommended poets for year 5, which are Rudyard Kipling, Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, John Greenleaf Whittier, and Paul Laurence Dunbar. So we will be reading about a poem a day. There's a biography. There's a biography at the beginning of each poet. And then they just have several pages of that poet's poetry. And you can actually get all of these on the Ambleside website for free. You could print them out if you wanted. For me and the printer that I have, I just thought it would be easier and way cheaper for me to just buy this like $8 book off of Amazon. So we will be studying those 4 poets. For artist study, we are going to be studying 2 artists that were on this year's schedule, which are Tintoretto and Seurat, and then one of them from next year's, which is DUR. And the reason that I kind of go behind a little bit is because a friend of mine has let me borrow some of her art prints, and she is following the Ambleside schedule. And so when she is done with those art prints, then she is letting me borrow them for the following term or year. So to help with our art study, I have this famous artist book from Usborne, and this just has sections on different artists. Only one of the artists that we'll be studying next year is actually in this book, so I will be using other resources. Another thing with art that I wanted to drop in here is how to teach art to children. And I've had this book for a couple of years now, but we haven't done a ton with it. So there's just different parts here. It has section on line, shape, color, value, texture, form, and space. And so it just has little lessons in each of those sections and pages that you can copy if you want your child to use these specific forms. But we will be working on some of the projects in here. For composer study, we will be studying Beethoven, Vivaldi, and Chopin. And I have a few resources that I like to use. So Meet the Great Composers is a good reference book for composer study. And so Beethoven and Chopin are in here, but Vivaldi is not. So I will have to get some extra information about him. I also have this Usborne classical music book, and I have had this for a few years and I haven't really used it very much. So this is not just about composers, but it's about like music and religion, music for entertainment, operas. It has all sorts of different things in here. Music and technology, music and science, words and music, the orchestra. So we're just going to be kind of slowly working our way through this book as well. I will probably assign it more to my daughter to just read through a 2-page spread, probably once a week. We have been using Happy Hymnody this last year for our Hymn of the Month and hymn study. So we will be doing that again. They have not yet released the full list of what all they'll be doing next year yet, but when they do, I will definitely keep you posted on that, and we'll probably be talking about that in some of our homeschool updates. For nature study, this last year we started using Christian Liberty Nature Readers, and so I got the one for this coming year as well. This is book 4, and so my daughter will be reading this. And the different units are perching birds, birds of prey, studying birds, insects, moths, turtles, snakes. So in each of those sections, there are several different lessons. And so she will just do one of those at a time, probably twice a week. There are also questions at the end of each of the sections. And so I got this little answer key to go along so that I know the answers if she can't find them or if I can't find them when reading. And then the last thing that I have is actually a language study. In the past, we have done a little bit of Spanish, and my daughter decided that she wanted to start learning French, which has been fine, although I have no idea how to pronounce anything in French. This year, I had decided that I wanted to try something a little bit different. And then I was chatting with a friend of mine, and she and I were talking about this program called Prima Latina from Memoria Press. And she said, actually, I have that on my shelf at home. I can give that to you, because someone had given it to her and she hadn't used it and was not planning to use it. Now, this curriculum is actually for 2nd grade, I believe. It's an introduction to Christian Latin, intended for teachers with no background in Latin, and was developed for children in 1st through 4th grade. Well, I have little to no background in Latin, and so I figured I can do this curriculum. And then my husband was kind of interested in maybe listening in on some of the instruction. And so we might do this kind of as a family, just for fun. But this curriculum has the Prima Latina Teacher's Manual. It has a student book, and this just has short exercises. And I'm happy to do a flip through of this curriculum if you're interested in one, or any of the other things that I have shown today. It comes with a pronunciation guide, songs and prayers CD, and then it also has an instructional DVD. So I'm excited to just take this really slow and kind of work on it a little bit at a time, just for fun, something to do together as a family. I think that's about it. Besides all of this extra curriculum, my daughter also does dance at a dance studio a little ways away. And she primarily does jazz and ballet, although she is very excited because next year she gets to start modern, and I don't exactly know what that means, but she's really excited about it because she's been wanting to do that for the last couple of years. She also would really like to do pointe someday, and that at her studio starts at around 12 years old. She will be 10 soon, so she still has a couple more years to go, so she will be continuing on with ballet to prepare her for that. She also is a part of an Awana program that's close by, and so she will be in her 3rd year of the TNT program with Awana, which is the upper elementary kids. And so she is really looking forward to still doing that. That will be her last year there. Let me know what you're using in your homeschool as far as electives and extra curriculum or extracurricular activities that you have planned for this coming school year. And thank you to Davene from Calm in the Chaos Homeschool and Shauna from Homegrown Homeschool for hosting today's collaboration. Don't forget to check the playlist down below and see what all of the other moms have chosen for their homeschools. If you are interested in seeing the math curriculum, language arts curriculum, and history science curriculum that I've chosen for this coming year, check out the description box below and I will link all of those videos down there for you. Hope you guys are all having a great day, and we'll see you next time. That's just down in blah, blah, blah.